the Hollywood Unapologetic podcast with Orlando Dilbert, Filmmaking Essentials.
Today, we're plunging right into making movies when, well, let's just say the budget is practically non-existent.
Right. This is really aimed at the new Hollywood generation.
Exactly. You filmmakers, you creators out there who are just burning to tell stories now, regardless of the financial situation.
And we've gathered some really great stuff. We've got practical tips from indie audio guides, some no-budget strategies.
Yeah, looking at those amazing case studies, The Living End, Laws of Gravity.
Of course, the legendary El Mariachi. Plus insights from online filmmaker forums, which are always interesting.
And a look at micro-budget distribution with good, bad things, finding actors for free. Basically, how to make films with almost nothing.
Our mission really is to pull out the key insights, the actionable stuff that can help you make something compelling without needing a huge pile of cash.
Because it really does come down to resourcefulness, doesn't it? Creativity over cash.
Absolutely. It's about proving that.
Yeah.
So, okay, where do we start? If you have no money, what's the very first step?
I think it has to be the mindset, right? That's what jumps out from the sources.
Completely. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
No-budget filmmaking isn't about what you lack. It's about leveraging everything you do have.
Ingenuity, finding workarounds.
And relying on people who believe in the project, volunteers. It kind of flips the whole traditional model on its head.
Yeah, that whole you need millions idea. These sources really push that just do it attitude.
Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for funding that might never come.
Look at Nick Gomez, Laws of Gravity for, what was it, 38 grand.
Incredible. And Rodriguez with El Mariachi for just over 7,000.
And Greg Araki's The Living End under 23,000. These weren't flukes.
No, not at all. These were deliberate choices. Get it done. And the amazing thing is...
they got noticed. Festivals, critics, distribution.
Exactly. National distribution even. It proves you can bypass the usual financial gatekeepers.
Instead of spending years pitching.
Right. They just used what they could get their hands on quickly. And importantly, they'd all made films before. Shorts, probably.
Ah, so they had some experience, some confidence already.
Yeah, which is crucial when you're facing such tight constraints. They weren't waiting for a studio deal. They knew they had to make it happen themselves.
Which brings us to that guerrilla filmmaking concept that came up.
Yeah, shooting lean, small crew, real locations, simple props. Sometimes, maybe bending the rules on permits.
Sounds liberating, but what are the downsides? What do you need to watch out for?
That's a really key point. It can be freeing, cuts costs dramatically, but you have to be smart about the legal side.
Governments, location owners.
Even just stuff in the background. Logos on buildings, music playing from a car or radio. That's all potential IP you need to clear.
Right. Could get you into trouble later. One source mentioned a lawsuit over uncleared music.
Exactly. So run and gun is cool, but a bit of planning saves headaches. How guerrilla you go affects those risks,
Makes sense. Okay, so mindset is crucial. Be aware of the guerrilla risks. Let's talk planning. The script seems absolutely foundational.
Totally. Everything points to writing a script you can actually shoot with what you have.
Forget the epic space battles for now.
Yeah. Focus on intimate contemporary stuff. Dramas, character pieces, things you can shoot in accessible locations with props you can find or make.
Araki mentioned being drawn to those kinds of stories anyway, right? Not giant historical things.
Right. He said, he's not the Chinese Civil Wars type. Keep it manageable.
I liked that tip from the online forums. Work backwards.
Oh, yeah, that's clever.
Find your free locations first, see what costumes you can scrape together, then build the story around that.
It really forces you to be practical from the outset and keep the story itself simple.
Yeah.
The ideas can be complex, but the plot shouldn't need tons of resources.
What about folks who aren't writers but want to direct?
That came up too, adapting one-act plays, especially public domain ones.
Oh, that's smart. Practice directing, working with actors, staging scenes.
Without the pressure of writing a whole feature and worrying about rights. It's a great entry point.
Okay, so you've got a scalable script. What's next before you yell action?
Planning. Like meticulous planning.
No room for error when there's no budget cushion.
None. Detailed shot lists are non-negotiable. Think through every scene. Have backup plans for your backup plans.
Because time is money, even when you don't have money. Wasted time on set is deadly.
Precisely. Okay, script's ready, plan solid. How do you physically make it happen with zero cash? Maximizing resources seems key.
Definitely. Using free stuff.
Like DaVinci Resolve for editing. It's amazing and it's free.
Borrowing gear, friends, community groups, film schools maybe.
Tap every network you have. People are often willing to help if they believe in the project or even just for the experience.
And those DIY solutions are inspiring. Wheelchair dollies.
Homemade boom poles, whatever works. It's about ingenuity.
Like Rodriguez listing his assets, the bus, the bars, the pit bull.
And writing the story to those assets, that's brilliant. Iraqi borrowing gear, getting donated film stock for the living end.
It's a different way of thinking, seeing potential everywhere. It wasn't just practical for Rodriguez, it shaped the story, right? The mistaken identity plot.
Yeah, reportedly that came partly from not having many prop guns.
Yeah.
Limitation breeding creativity.
Okay, let's talk actors, the big hurdle. How do you cast with no pay?
It's tough, but doable. Casting friends and family is tempting.
But maybe not always the best acting.
Often, yeah. The advice is usually to find aspiring actors who need experience and, crucially, demo real footage.
So it's a trade. Their talent for your footage.
Exactly, a mutually beneficial thing.
Where do you find them?
Lots of places. Local theaters, especially off-season. Acting schools are gold mines. Students need credits, experience.
University drama departments, too. Do they have, like, casting lists?
Many do, yeah.
Yeah.
Internal networks. Then online platforms like Backstage, social media groups for local filmmakers.
Facebook groups? Really?
You'd be surprised. Lots of communities there.
Mm.
Even things like the Columbia Casting Network if you have film school connections.
Okay, so you find potential actors. How do you sell them on a zero-pay gig?
Your casting call needs to be compelling. Focus on the character, the story, not just physical types.
And highlight the non-monetary benefits.
Absolutely. Good quality real footage is huge for them. IMDb credits, headshots maybe, if you can swing even a tiny budget for a photographer pal.
The experience itself. Networking.
Yeah, the chance to collaborate, meet other filmmakers, and honestly, providing good food on set goes a long way. Don't underestimate snacks.
Noted. What about auditions? Can't afford a fancy studio?
Nope. Use free or cheap spaces, community centers, church rooms, quiet library corners. Get the script sides to actors in advance.
Give them time to prep.
Right. Yeah, record the auditions if you can, even just decent phone video with good sound. And make it relaxed, supportive.
Especially for newcomers. Build relationships.
That's vital. Deliver what you promise, the footage, the credits, stay in touch, offer feedback. It builds goodwill for future projects.
Good advice. Okay, shifting to production. On set, how do you keep those costs rock bottom?
Use natural light. Plan for day exteriors as much as possible.
Like Laws of Gravity and El Mariachi did. Saves on lights, crew.
Big time. And consider shooting MOS mid-out sound.
No synced sound recorded live. Saves on beer, maybe film stock if you're using film.
And sound crew. Rodriguez planned El Mariachi entirely MOS initially, but it does mean more work in post to sync dialogue or use ADR.
And shooting ratio, keep it low.
Absolutely critical. Rodriguez's single-take approach on El Mariachi wasn't just style, it was survival. Every extra take costs money you don't have.
Keep the crew tiny, too.
As small as possible. Less food, less transport, less coordination. Plus, it helps you stay under the radar in public locations, like Iraqi's crews.
And free locations, write them into the script from the start.
Use your neighborhood, your town, like Gomez and Rodriguez did, or build a minimal set somewhere cheap, like a filmmaker's co-op for Laws of Gravity.
Equipment borrow or buy used, not rent.
Yeah, Iraqi learned that rentals add up fast. Owning even basic gear can be cheaper long-term if you plan to make more films.
What about post-production costs? They can sneak up on you.
The strategy is often
Yeah.
delay, delay, delay. Anything non-essential gets pushed until after you potentially get distribution.
Like music rights. Insurance.
Exactly. Laws of Gravity just cut to black between scenes instead of fancy transitions. Got a free sound mix for a credit.
Be resourceful in post, too. Find favors, trade services.
Leverage your network. Edit on whatever you can access. Iraqi used an old Moviola. Rodriguez used borrowed video gear.
And Rodriguez's fake blood and condoms. Brilliant low-budget effects.
Pure ingenuity. That's the spirit.
Now, even with all this cost-cutting, sound keeps coming up as something you shouldn't totally stimp on.
It's so important. Bad sound screams amateur. Even if you shoot MOS, you need good quality audio eventually.
Iraqi's approach changed when he got that loaner recorder, right?
Yeah, it opened up possibilities. Rodriguez recorded multiple audio takes on cassettes, then used cutaways to hide sync issues. Clever workaround.
The Reddit advice was strong on this. Put
Yeah.
any tiny bit of money towards sound. Maybe hire a pro for a day.
That's common wisdom. A good boom op or sound mixer can make a world of difference. Rodriguez also recorded everything at the same level to make mixing easier later. Smart.
Okay, quick detour intellectual property. Even on a no-budget film.
You still got to think about it.
Yeah.
Your script, copyright, any music, logos in the background.
Get basic agreements. Cast, crew, locations.
Essential. Simple written releases. Distributors need a clean chain of title proof you own all the rights. Saves huge problems later.
Right. So you've made the film, somehow. How do you get people to see it?
The first goal is usually just getting it in the can. A finished, watchable version for the absolute minimum cost.
Then festivals.
Festivals are key, especially indie-focused ones. That's where you get exposure, reviews, buzz, and hopefully distributor interest.
Like Good Bad Things recently, micro-budget, got theatrical distribution through the festival route.
Exactly. It still works. That path is still very much alive.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly practical. To wrap it all up for our listeners, that new Hollywood generation, what's the bottom line?
The bottom line is, you can do this. Making powerful films with hardly any money is achievable. It takes that mix of creativity, resourcefulness, super detailed planning, and just using absolutely everything available to you.
The examples of Araki, Gomez, Rodriguez, they aren't just legends, they're proof it can be done.
Absolutely. Powerful proof.
So the final thought we want to leave you with is this. Look around you right now. What resources do you actually have? What locations? What stories are sitting right there in your own backyard, your own community?
What unique film could you make by embracing those limits, not fighting them? Focus on ingenuity, not expense.
Don't wait. Start now. Use what you've got. Your filmmaking journey begins today.
You can find more insights on navigating the entertainment industry and achieving success in Orlando Delbert's work, including his book, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical, and of course, the Hollywood Unapologetic platform. And always remember, you are the key to your own success. You are the new Hollywood generation.
Be informed, be prepared, and most importantly, be great.
That's it. Be great. Good luck out there.
See you next time.